people, it's Rachel. Welcome back to my channel, especially if you're a new viewer and also especially if you're a returning viewer. Thank you so much for coming back. This is the Adventures of Yarnia episode 16, had to check my notes then, and it's my monthly or nearly monthly update on all the things I've been making and creating and what I've been up to and what I've got planned as well. So today I have some finished things to share with you, some finished projects, including some sewing, which is a little bit different for me to share on here. I also have several works in progress as ever, and for the record, we're not talking about the kitten mittens. I also have some incoming things to share with you, plans I've got for my April creating as well. So I hope that you have grabbed yourself a brew. I have my cup of calm, my cup of coffee for the morning, and you will notice obviously, you know, the lockdown hair is just progressing even further. I'm wearing dungarees today. They are from Popsy, which I absolutely love Popsy clothing. If you've not checked them out, do take a look because they have amazing dresses that really fit and they have pockets, which is obviously the most important thing about a dress, is it not? So grab yourself a brew, grab yourself something to make, or perhaps you're planning and you are just having a listen to this as you stickerate, and we shall dive straight into things that I've finished. So first up are my March socks. As I've mentioned before, I am doing the Rainbow Sock Chronicles knit along. I had to think about that then. And these are my March pair of socks. Now if you watched my last episode you'll be thinking, but Rachel, those are not the socks that you intended to knit. And no, they're not, but I will come to that in a minute. Let's have a look at these first. So you can see here we have a lovely textured stitch, and that stitch is taken from the Prairie Socks, which is a pattern by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears. And I actually worked these toe up, so it might look a little different. I don't know, does it look different if it's worked? Yeah, of course it looks different, because, or does it? I can't decide now. Does it look different with like a twisty stitch if you do it toe up to cuff down? I think I'm just being a little bit overthinking here. Anyway, I worked these toe up. They are made in West Green Loft yarns, and the main colour is Serendipity, and the little contrast that I've got is actually LayFamilyYarn, and it was in my box of minis that I got, which I shared with you last time. So working these toe up, I did is it Judy's Magic Cast On, where you cast on a few stitches on 2 needles. I think I cast on 12 maybe. I think I went for 12 because I don't like quite as deep a toe as if you only do like 8 stitches. So I cast on at the bottom of the toe, worked up doing increases either side, and then I did into the pattern, which obviously on the foot I've just done on the top of the foot, and the sole is knitted plain. And as usual, I love that because then you get to see the yarn in knitted plain as well as in a pattern. Now I actually knit these on 2.25mm needles, Chow Goose, which is usually, I do a 2.5. So I cast on an extra 4 stitches, and the reason I wanted to do a 2.25, well, there were a couple of things. One, my 2.5s were full and I didn't want to pull them off, and 2, I just wanted to see if I could get a nice fabric that was just a little bit more snug, because I do find that sometimes my socks are not always super warm, and I think that's partly because I'm using superwash yarn from what I can gather, superwash merino nylon as a general rule. So I thought, well, let's see if I can knit a denser fabric and see if that makes a difference. I've not actually worn these yet, so I can't tell you if it does. But to compensate for that, I did go to 68 stitches instead of 64 because I thought might get a bit too tight. And then I added in, or I did, the Godet Heel, which was from Jewel So Sweet Violet, and I took it from one of her patterns. A few of her sock patterns have it in, and I have a couple of her sock patterns, so I just looked it up and added it in. But because I did it toe up this time, whereas last time I did this heel, I did it cuff down, it required some maths, and that was a problem because although I have this wonderful thing from, where did I get this from? Oh, it's a soccer's gauge. I think I bought it from Hedgerow Yarns. I'm not sure, I'd have to check, but I think it was Hedgerow Yarns. And it's brilliant. It has centimetres and inches, and it has a little needle gauge on the end, really cute. It has a little reminder for Kitchener stitch, and then it has as well all of the sizes for men's and women's feet in inches and centimetres. So if you're knitting toe-up socks, you just slip it into the sock, see where you're up to, and you know, Bob's your uncle. He actually is, because I do have an Uncle Robert. So I knit a size 7. I have a size 7 foot, so I need about 10 inches. I tend to do about 9 3/4 actually, but because I just like a little less. Plus I have one smaller foot than the other, but that's a whole other story. So in the pattern, Jules gives a point at which you start the gusset increases, and it should be what is it, 2.75 inches before the end of the foot. So I went, okay, 10, we'll do 10 minus 2.75, because again I wasn't sure with the 2.25 if I just needed that 10 inch. And I got 6.25, which you're all going to be going, Rachel, no it's not, no it's not. So yeah, I started my gusset increases an inch early. What's worse is I knit these socks concurrently, which means that before I even started on the heel turn or anything, I'd knit both sets of gusset increases 1 inch early. So you can see what's coming now, can't you? I did my heel turn, I got back onto the leg, did a pattern repeat around, thought I will just double check this, popped it onto my long circular, couldn't get on my foot. Oh, I was absolutely gutted. I was gutted, I was so upset. I was like, I can't knit socks this month, it's just not happening, I'm not going to get done, I'm not going to do the knit along, and that's it, I've had enough of them. So they sat in the naughty corner for a bit, and then I pulled them out, had a look, worked out what I'd done, realised what I'd done, and I thought, okay, so I've got a couple of options here. Obviously I'm going to have to pull back the heel turn that I'd done, but I really did not want to pull back like that much knitting on 2 socks, because I mean, it's basically half the sock, it felt like. So I decided to finagle it, and what I did is I kept increasing until I got to the length I needed. So I actually increased, rather than just going to 56 stitches on the sole, I actually increased all the way up to 70, because that's what I needed to do. So it's given me a much deeper heel when I've then worked the heel turn and everything. And do you know what? It fits perfectly. So it's a very happy accident, actually. And clearly, you know, I could have gone, oh yes, I worked out that because I've got a relatively high instep, I needed to do my gusset increases earlier and have a deeper heel, and aren't I clever having adapted it? But no, it was complete and utter mistake, but a happy mistake. So I got to the point, I'd done all of my heel turn, I was back in the round, and I just had a couple more stitches that I needed to decrease, and you can just see on the corner here where I'm kind of poking at the back, you can just see that there are a couple of extra decreases there, because I then needed to get back to having 68 stitches with a 4 stitch little pattern repeat. So they really were kind of yeah, finangled is definitely the word. I should definitely have done a different decrease that side. I've got a decrease that's leaning the wrong way, basically because I just didn't know. I just did what I did. So that's been a little bit of something to learn. But overall, I am really happy with them, and they fit, they're comfortable, and they're pretty. So there's really lovely peachy colour, which March was meant to be peach or orange. And yes, there were another pair of socks. Sorry, I'm just admiring the speckling now. Look at the speckles on this. Oh, it's so pretty. It did start to pool a little bit, or to repeat a little bit on the sole of one of them, but actually overall they're fairly well balanced in terms of speckling throughout the pair. I think they're quite a decent match. But yes, I had pulled out, if you remember last time, if you watched last time, if you didn't, go and watch it. I pulled out some kind of deep, kind of orangey, browny, autumny type yarn called Pheasants Make Jeff Jump by LayFamilyYarn, and I pulled that out with the intention of making my March socks in that. But then I took them with me when I went into hospital to have my gallbladder out at the start of the month, and I knit quite a lot on them on the day when I was sat waiting, because it took forever. I didn't go down to theatre till 4 p.m. I was starving. Small thing. And when I got back home, I just didn't want to work on them anymore. So they have been put on hold, and a week and a half later I cast these on, and this is what I decided to do instead. So that is the story of the March socks. It's a bit of a tale of woe, but with a happy ending. So we'll take that. So my next sort of finished section of a project is, as you may expect, my rainbow corner to corner crochet blanket. I'm into the yellows. It's so lovely. But the yellow is for April, and let me just find my stitch marker. There we go. So here we go. This is where we're at. Oh, getting entangled. Oh, isn't it glorious? It's so lovely. It makes me so happy, this. I just love working on it. So our March section began around here and runs up to here. So 10 stripes, and I am now, as I said I think last time, I have, or did I tell you this last time, or had I not already done it? Let's just have a quick check. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, no, I hadn't, had I? So I have actually turned the corner now, and that's great. So I'm now increasing on one side, decreasing on the other, and we're now working along the long edge of the blanket. And I decided to turn at this point because, as I think I did say last time, I can't remember where I was up to. I'd reached a point where one colour was doing sort of a there and back again. So 2 rows, but 1 stripe is 2 rows, and that's what I wanted. So yeah, absolutely lovely. I think this pale one here is probably my favourite of the March colours. It's kind of peachy, greeny loveliness. And yes, we are into now the yellows for April. And there's my cake. I had somebody ask me about how I actually do my cakes for the palettes, and what I will do is I will film winding up the May colours and add it in towards the end for you if that's something you'd be interested in. But basically all I do is I put each colour on the Swift one at a time, and then when I get to the end of it and join the next one, I just do a magic knot and carry on. Let's see, can I even find any of the knots? Probably not. Because the thing with crochet is that you can hide your knots quite easily in your work, especially in trebles, which this is just basically granny trebles, but worked on the bias. And yeah, it's fairly easy to sort of squidge them into the centre of the stitch and disappear them. This is not going to be a blanket that gets used by the children. It is going to be one for me on my armchair, and how old do I sound? On my sort of where I normally knit and crochet and sit in the morning, do my Bible journaling and things. And so I know that it's not going to get desperately tugged around. It's also not going in the washing machine. Even though it is superwash and could go in, it's not going in. Not a chance. Too beautiful and too precious for that, I think. Oh my goodness me. Sorry, I'm just having a moment again of going, look at the colours! Oh, just glorious. So, thoroughly enjoying this. I am actually not teaching this week or next week with it being the Easter holidays, so I am breaking my rule of this being my teaching project, and it is going to go and sit in my work basket and come with me into the living room, and I'll do a little bit each day. The bag that I'm using is one that I made. I do have plans to make some more of these because they are absolutely gorgeous. And I do have some more of these fabrics which are from Tilda. They are from the Apple Butter collection, and I've been hoarding them basically. So I thought, actually, do you know what? I need to get sewing a bit more. I want to sew a little bit more, and I think I will get some more of these made. So keep an eye out if that's something you'd be interested in. Speaking of bags and bag making, I do have a few things to share with you. So I've just finished up the Spring Experience boxes for ELLIEBETHDESIGNS, which are boxes of stationery and planner related goodness. So there's stickers and creative packs and all sorts in there. But one of the things that are in there is a planner pouch. And so I thought I would share with you one of the ones that I had finished and just tell you a little bit about them. I am also going to be making more of these, not necessarily in this fabric because I'm out of the fabric, but certainly other fabrics and other designs in future. So this is the largest size that I make, which, sorry, camera's blowing out a bit, is perfect for a 7x9 planner, sort of Erin Condren size, or happy planner, classic happy planner, not the big one, or plum paper 7x9, or any of that kind of size. So it's using this gorgeous fabric with the windmills and the little mice and the tulips, so it's all spring themed, with a little contrast with some embroidered machine embroidery across there. We've got my little maker's badge there, and then on the inside it has this is one of mine because it's got a slight error in it, but it's got this contrast fabric with the tulips in yellow and then top stitched to finish, which is just absolutely lovely. So these were, people could choose from this size, they could choose from a medium size that would fit up to an A5 notebook, a small one for kind of a pocket size planner, this sort of size, and also one to fit Hobonichi Weeks, which are a sort of tall skinny planner if you're not a planner person. So there were a few options there. So that was my planner pouches, and with some of the leftover fabric I did make a couple of project bags, little mini ones. One of them is that I'm going to keep, that's this one because it's plain, it hasn't got my maker's badge on or anything, because I think I'd reordered and they'd not arrived yet. But again, it's just that lovely, lovely fabric. It's very springtime. Also makes me think of Amsterdam, of course, and the Netherlands. And then that lovely contrast inside. I love that pop of yellow. When you open the bag, it's like, oh yeah, it's pretty on a grey background. Then you open it, it's like yellow. It's a nice warm sunshiny yellow. So that's perfect for like a little sock project. And the one that I'll be putting in the shop when I next have an update, which again, keep an eye on my social media. I will let you know when that is on there. And I may do sewing and project bags and pouches separately to stickers. I need to have a little think about how I'm going to make that work, because as I say, sewing and making bags and pouches and things is something that I want to do far more of this year. I love it. I absolutely love sewing, so I definitely need to do more of that. So this is the one that will be going into the shop when that happens. There is just one. It is a one of a kind, and so it has my little maker's badge on the centre. Come on, camera. There we go. The ELLIEBETHDESIGNS butterfly. And this one's a little bit different inside. It opens up with the yellow, but it's actually got a divider in it, and that means you've got a little separate pocket. I'm trying to show you as best I can. Come on, camera. There we go. So it's got a piece of that green contrast that's also been trimmed with some of the main colour fabric, and then it's got the yellow as well. So you can get a sock pattern in there, and obviously your yarn and things, because you've still got all of the boxed bottom to use. You've not lost any of the space there. So that is that. And I have more bags cut out, ready to sew and ready to work on. And the other thing that I've been waiting to do, I say waiting because obviously I mentioned operation, I've had to heal and things, and then had an infection that I've had to deal with, and it's been a bit of a month. I want to go through my fabrics and just get an inventory together of what I've got and start actually making with those, which will be great fun. So, works in progress. As I said, we're not talking about the kitten mittens. No, we're not talking about them at all. That's it. No more kitten mittens. Not going to talk about those. We're going to go straight into something else rainbow related, because rainbows are good, and that is my little rainbow sock that I'm making, which is using the double rainbow yarn from the Yarn Badger. This little basket, storage basket, I made with a kit from Emma at the Vintage Sewing Box. Yes, I think that's the right name. And basically I went off pattern completely with how I put it together and how I made it, and yeah, I really should have stuck to the pattern. However, it's functional, it works, I'm happy with it, and I think it's really, really pretty. I especially like this flower here. But it's very definitely homemade rather than handmade. There's a difference, isn't there? So here we go. This is where I'm up to with the sock. So this one I've been working a cuff down, and I'm just doing it with an afterthought heel. I'm using the Simple Skip Sock Stitch, which is a pattern by, oh, let me remind myself, Adrienne Ku. I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. I do apologise if I am not, though I doubt she's even watching, but you know. And so I am partway through, about halfway through my second rainbow on these. And my plan was to do the full rainbow twice, and then put in a toe and heel in a contrast, which I haven't decided what colour I'm using yet. I do have some undyed yarn, but I'm a bit concerned about bleed. Or I did think what I might do is get something like a West Yorkshire Spinners in a solid colour, or an opal in a solid colour. Now I think I have got some upstairs, but I can't remember what colours I've got. And I thought I'd get something like either a grey or a blue, but a blue that's different to the blue that's in this. So yeah, but these are bringing me a lot of joy when I work on them, and it's just lovely to have something so rainbowy and happy on the needles. You can see that is my little cake that I've got there. So as I say, I want to get through, where do I need to get to? I need to get through to this blue again, and I'm on like that limey colour here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I've got 6 stripes to go, and I think there's actually another complete repeat in this, or in this, what is this I'm using again? Oh yes, yarn. So in this yarn I think there's another complete repeat, but I do have the other half of the skein caked up as well. So those are bringing me lots of happiness. Socks of happiness. My other next sort of little work in progress is one that has still been on the needles, but I am getting close to finishing it. It is my November square for the Harry Potter Blanket Club from Norah George Yarns. And I think last time I'd barely done maybe 1 or 2 of these little squares, and now I have nearly finished this one, and now I've just got 1 to go. Loads of ends on the back, which actually have mostly been woven in as I went, so they just need to be snipped. I've just not got round to it. Oh, and also, top tip, never ever 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 bite through yarn or cotton with your teeth, because I managed to break my front tooth this past couple of weeks. It's now been fixed, so you know, happy days. Thank you, dentist, you are actually a miracle worker, because I thought she was just going to have to file it a little bit to stop it catching, but no, she actually fixed it. I was like, oh my word, I had no idea you could do that. I'm so happy. But yeah, don't bite through yarn. Top tip. These colours, I'm feeling a little bit like I shouldn't have put these two together. They're looking a little bit more contrasty on, or contrasting on camera, but yeah, had I thought about it, I'd have used this one twice and one of these twice and then the other one just once, but that's fine. We live and learn, don't we? And in the skeins they looked so different. I think my absolute favourite has got to be this one here. It's still this one. I love it so much. I just love the colours, and it is just beautiful, especially next to the purpley one. Just gorgeous. So I'm hoping this week to have that square finished, the border crocheted on, everything done, and then I will be into the Christmas set. I do think that what I'm going to try doing with this set is I'm actually going to wind them on my ball winder, because yes, it's only 10 minutes that it takes me to wind 20 grams, but that's nearly an hour of winding by hand, and in an hour I can knit 2 squares. So I think I'm going to try that this month and see if it just works better. Although I do like a hand wound ball. I mean, they look so cute, you know? Although when you stick your needles through them, they're less cute. Yeah, they're just very satisfying, aren't they? Right, so that is that little project. Next up, I have something. I now have 2 completely new projects that you haven't seen before. These were not even thought of last time. The first one is living in this bag, which I believe this is a Tilda fabric actually. I think it's from their Flower Bees range, I'm not sure. It's really pretty though. I'm trying to remember where I got this bag and I can't remember, and there's no maker tag or anything on it either, so that's a shame. This is using the Wildflower Meadow Blanket Club yarns. I'll just show you these. These are from December and January on this one. This one's January, and they're actually, I've got DK weight. They're from Norah George Yarns again, and yeah, basically I ended up with some DK by accident, and then I liked it so much that I bought another lot of it in January, but I do also have it in sock, just to be confusing. And I was going to do the Wildflower Meadow Blanket Club as well as the Harry Potter one, but then I thought, actually, do you know what, I can't really stretch to that financially, and I already have the Rainbow Chronicles that I've kind of committed to, so I'll just stick with the Harry Potter one. So that's kind of what we've done. But what I'm making out of this, oh, it's so soft and squidgy, is something lovely, because I'm holding my yarns double with this. This is Surrey Silk Alpaca, often known as Floof or Cloud or whatever. I think this is actually Tracy, Norah George one. It's like holding a fluffy bunny rabbit. Which I can ascertain because I did stroke a bunny last week. I don't know why I felt the need to tell you that. But yes, it is glorious. It's so beautiful, and when you hold it together with something that's going to go around your neck, it just makes the most beautiful fabric. The other thing that it does, of course, is it calms down colours, you know what I mean, because it's being held double. This is quite big now. So I'm making a shawl, and I haven't really got a long enough needle to be showing you what I'm actually doing. It's another one where I kind of took an idea, a little bit of a recipe, which is the Easy Goes It shawl, and I haven't written down who it's by. It will be in the show notes below. And it's a shawl which is worked, it's a bias shawl, bias triangle, and it's knitted obviously, and it has sections of garter stitch, lovely garter. It has some stocking stitch interspersed with garter ridges, and it has let me find one where I've not made a mess of it. Yeah, here we go, these two are correct. Some simple lace as well, so some lace sections. I messed that one up because I basically worked it the wrong side and the right side the wrong way around. Oops. But I wasn't for ripping back anything that's got floof in, because there was no way was that going to rip back nice and neat. So it's obviously you're increasing all the time, and I have got quite a number of sections done. In fact, I think I only need or want to put probably about another 3 mini skeins in this, because how many have I used so far? I've used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm on my 6th, and I had 10. So I'm debating whether to work any kind of a border around it, although what I have done is I have done like a kind of a slip stitchy type border. Let's see if we can get the camera to pick that up. Probably not very easily. There we go, hopefully you can kind of see some of that a little bit. Oh, look at that stitch definition. Sorry. I have not worked with DK weight ever for a shawl. Well, no, I tell a lie. I have done, because I made my dotted rays is DK, but it's quite a light DK. It's not, and obviously this is held double, so it's it's a bit thicker, but it's got a nice drape to it. You see, it's got a nice drape. So I'm feeling quite happy about that. But I wanted just something really big and snuggly. And part of that was because I cast it on when I was kind of, you know, immediately post-surgery and recovering. Oh, look at that. It's going to block beautifully, this. It's going to have such a lovely, lovely shape. I mean, I love this green. This green is gorgeous. Oh, well, minty green, really. What else can I tell you? What else do you want to know about it? Needle size, let's tell you about that. So I'm using ChowGoo's 5mm, and I'm using quite short tips. These are only, what are they, 3 inch? Yeah, they're 3-inch tips. And that's because I'm so used to knitting socks that I'm really used to short needles that sit in my hands, that sit right in my hands. So, you know, I'm not used to having a lot of needle coming out of here or anything, or managing that. So I have done these just on 3mm tips? No, 3-inch tips. Isn't it funny? We describe them as 5mm needles, but 3-inch tips. Welcome to Britain, people. Welcome to Britain. That is a size 8, I believe. That's what it says next to it, so I'm assuming that's right. And the other colours that I have got to go are still in here. I spent a lot of time messing around with the colours and thinking what I wanted to have and where I wanted to have it. So I've got these left. So there are a couple that are more muted, these ones. And I actually thought that one might make a nice finishing colour. We've got this kind of sunshiny yellow, and then this pinky purple as well, which is lovely. So I have 4 more to go, so I am on my 6th, which the 6th one is kind of a, well, it's yellowy green. I actually thought it was going to be more green than yellow, but it's coming out a bit more yellowy. So I'm not quite sure where to go next, because what I really wanted is some sort of blue in there. I feel like it's missing blue, which, as it's my favourite colour, I kind of need to be in there. So I might have a look through my stash, see if I've got a blue mini, even if it's a fingering weight one, I can hold it double, or something. We'll figure something out. But that is my Easy Goes It shawl. And it's really nice because it's just repeatable sections. You just work it as big as you want it. There is a version, the actual pattern, which I've not really followed because I've just put the sections in where I felt like it, has a version for a 100g skein and a 200. So obviously I have 200g, so I'm working it larger. So, but I'm on the lace at the moment, and I think this will probably be my last section of lace, because honestly I am finding it a little bit hard on my hands. But again, I'm so used to knitting on tiny little circulars with fingering weight yarn, so I'm not surprised I'm finding it a bit hard on my hands. Nothing wrong with the yarn pattern or needles, it's just me that needs to learn to do it. So that is that, which, as I say, is a completely new project from last time. That needs some attention this month. My next and final work in progress is another new one that you've not seen before, and it came about because my daughter Elizabeth was helping me, I say helping me, I was looking through some of my crochet magazines and little supplement books and things, because I wanted to crochet some plants, like you do. And I knew that I had a little freebie that came with Simply Crochet, I think, it's Emma Varnum, when she released her book of crocheted succulents. And I knew that I had a little freebie booklet that had some patterns in, and I was searching for it. So Elizabeth comes in, it's my 8-year-old, she's nearly 9. And she's looking through things as I'm moving them, and we came across the Crochet Amigurumi supplement that was in Simply Crochet, and this was, does it actually tell me when this was? No idea. I think it was last year. I'm pretty certain it was last year, and it was a spring, so yeah, it is sometime last year. And we started flicking through, and she spotted this little Easter girl down here, and we found, I thought it was the otters that would get her, but she looked through and she found this, and she's like, oh mummy, look, she's got a rucksack with eggs in, and she's a bunny girl and she's really cute, and oh, you can put the eggs in and out of the rucksack, and isn't that ace? Because she loves to play. She plays very imaginatively, lots and lots of stories. There's always something going on. Her characters are always doing something, and she loves having little bits of things. So, you know, yes. So I kind of looked at her, and she was hinting in a very big way without directly asking. So I said, do you want me to make that for you? And she was like, yes, please. And then I can play putting things in and out of the rucksack. Now, she is actually dairy intolerant, so I did say to her, we can't really just put chocolate eggs in there, but I could crochet you some little eggs. And she's like, oh yes, and I could put them in and out. So we had lots of fun picking out colours, and I have actually pretty much managed to match the colours used in this, with the exception of the silver, but it's quite a nice exception, because I had this silver which has actually got some sparkle in it as well. And then the rest of the colours that I've got are Toft colours. So I've got their orange, I've got their yellow, which kind of goes with the gold, and actually I think it's nicer than the gold. And then I've got their sort of, I'm not sure what colour that is. Oatmeal, that's the one for the skin. Not that I can find it in here. Oh dear, let's just pull out a body part, which sounds so wrong. But you can see there on the head the oatmeal. And then finally the ruby for the boots and the little rucksack. So we've matched the colours really rather well, I feel. And I started working on that. It is amigurumi, so you work in a spiral. They're all DK weight yarns, and it's designed by Ilaria Kaleri. Designer's name is down here. Again, I will put it in the notes down below. And yeah, I don't know if this pattern's available apart from in this little supplement, but we'll have to see. So I have got through, what have I made now? I've made the body, which is the body and header work together. I've made the arms, I've made the ears, I've made the hat, I've made one of the legs, I'm halfway through the other leg, and then I just have the boots, dress, rucksack and tiny little legs to go. And then she has a pom-pom on the back, you can just see it there, for a tail. It's so cute. So I get to make a pom-pom, and yeah, hopefully it might be finished for Sunday, which is Easter. That's the aim. That is the aim. So there we go. So those are all of my works in progress and finished projects. And now I thought I would just share with you my plans for April in terms of making, and particularly for the Rainbow Chronicles knit along, and what I'm going to be getting up to. So I have the next palette pack from Kelly at LayFamilyYarns for the rainbow blanket. Now we're into the greens. Oh, so excited to be into the greens. Now I will be honest with you, when I opened this and I looked at them, I was a bit like, oh, I don't really like this one or this one, because they're just a little bit on the neon side for me, and that's not something that I particularly enjoy. So I don't know if I'm going to keep those colours in But then part of me thought, oh, I should trust her. But I did pull out this mini, which is another of Kelly's actually. So it's that thing if you know that then it's going to be the same dies that are used. I don't know, it just feels better to me. But I did pull this out, which I think was from a Winnie the Pooh set. And it's a 20 gram, so I did think that if I got those colours, really wasn't happy, I could put in this twice. But I know that we're moving into the kind of turquoise and aqua next, so with that in mind I can see those colours working because they will lead in. So I'm a little bit umming and ahhing about it, but yeah, I feel like I should trust her and go with it. Yeah, even though when I look at them I'm like, not sure about those. So that's my dilemma at the moment. What would you do? Would you stick with the palette as it is, or do you think, you know, swapping in another colour would be okay? What would you do with it? I have chosen my April yarn for April socks, and I have pulled this out, which is called Perfect Posy. It is the most yellow yarn that I own, and I am actually going to just take it off the ball band and just show you because it is glorious. I'm not a big yellow fan, you see. See, it's got this contrast mini, which is really lovely, kind of a yellowy olivey green, and then this is the skein, and isn't it beautiful? I could never just do yellow, so this has got flashes of pinks, and there's some purples in there and oranges. I can't decide if there's even like some bluey greens in there, little speckly bits, but I just open that out because, you know, it's fun doing that, isn't it? Just have a little look. Oh, which way are you going? That way. So it's like that. So this is, so looking at this in the skein, I can see that on the top we've pretty much got all yellow and cream, and then on the bottom it's all the amazing beautiful speckledy goodness. So because you've got that kind of effectively a repeat, this is going to pool, or it might even micro stripe. It might even micro stripe this in socks, depending on the gauge. So I don't know at the moment. I did think that after my March calamities and challenges with my socks, I was actually thinking of doing a completely vanilla pair of socks with an afterthought heel, so I could just knit straight down a tube and that be it. Looking at this now, I'm not sure, because, well, for one, I'm definitely, yeah, if it's going to microstripe, I definitely don't want to put a gusset in because any increases are going to throw off the striping. And then I'm a bit like, do I want it to stripe? Or do I deliberately stripe it and put it with something else and use 2 yarns? So I'm having a little bit of a debate now. I'm really not in the mood for knitting a pattern or a texture or anything, which would break up the stripe effect if I didn't want to have that. But yeah, I'm not sure now. If I had another, I'm going to have a little look in my stash, I think. I'm just wondering if I've got some, I know I've got a couple of other sort of yellowy skeins, and I could stripe them. Which then would mean that it would kind of just break it up a little bit more. Who am I kidding? Keep it simple, Rachel. We're just going to go with it. But oh, the speckles are amazing. Look at these. I would love to dye yarn. I really would. I'm totally going to go and do some yarn dyeing workshops in the future, I think. So that is Perfect Posy. Let me just twist you back up. I will probably be getting my ball winder out now that I've finished filming on here and sharing this with you before it's been wound up. And I will get it caked up, ready to cast on Thursday, because that will be the 1st of April. So yeah, exciting times. I am quite enjoying seeing all the projects and things on the Rainbow Chronicles hashtag, and oh my gosh, I've just got to show you that bit because it's just making me really, really happy. Oh, so pretty. So pretty. I think with the green, it's just lovely. But yes, I am really enjoying the Rainbow Chronicles this year. It's just lovely to have a year of rainbow, basically, because, you know, rainbow is my favourite colour. So that's Perfect Posy. Again, it's a Kelly yarn. It's been in my stash for a little while, so I am really glad to be able to use it, or to be using it, because of course I could use it any time, but it's nice to use it as part of something that she's organised. So the final thing that I've got planned, as I've already mentioned, is some bag making and some project bags and planner pouches, and depending on what I feel like, maybe some notions pouches as well. So I do enjoy making my own project bags. Normally I do a drawstring one. I don't think I've got any with me here, because that rainbow one I did deliberately with a zipper because I wanted to see all the fabrics rather than them being bunched together. But I do like a good drawstring bag as well. You can fit a lot in. So the other thing that I just wanted to mention was to ask if there's anything else that you would like to see in the podcast. If there's, you know, anything else you want me to chat about, let me know. I am up for nattering on about pretty much anything and everything. I hope you've enjoyed this month's podcast. Yeah, we're not doing weekly. I'm not productive enough for that. But I do hope you've enjoyed this month's little catch up. And I will be adding in some footage now of some little bits that I've filmed throughout the month, sharing how I'm kind of including creativity in my everyday, and also hopefully a little bit of how I cake up my yarns. So thank you so much for watching, lovely people. I really, really do appreciate you joining me, and until next time, take care, keep creating, and bye-bye for now. Good morning, lovely people. So I am quite excited today. It's Monday the 22nd of March, and I am due to reopen the shop today. Yay! So I have been closed for a few weeks. Had to have my gallbladder out. That was yeah, it was an interesting experience, but I am doing loads better and definitely ready to get back to work. And I thought that what I would do is try filming, not necessarily like a studio vlog or a vlog of any kind really, well, no, sort of, but I thought I would try filming a creative journal. So my idea was that I would share with you throughout my day and call it creative journal, because a lot of what I do and what I try and fill my days with is about creativity and colour and enjoyment and looking after my mental health and wellness and all of that. And I just thought that maybe somebody out there might be interested in it. So there you go. So it's dinner time. Chicken soup and bread, and that is the face of a dog who's eyeing up my lunch. So it's Monday afternoon now and I have worked the morning and been out for a walk with that one over there. And now I thought I'd sit down and work on my March socks, which have been in the naughty corner for a while because I went wrong. Well, no, I didn't go wrong, I just couldn't add up because I'm knitting these toe up, and when I got about, I think it's 2.75 inches away from the length of the foot, I was supposed to start the increases for the gusset before doing the heel, except that 10 take away 2.75 is not 6.25. No, Rachel, it's not. And so I made the first one, did all the heel turn and everything, and it was obviously too small. Let me see if I can just get this so you can see what it's like. So I'm going to spend some time working on these and get the second one, try and get the increases finished and the heel turn done. I do love the heel turn and the heel on this because I don't have to come off my small circular. I just put that on a longer one so I could try it on. So yeah. So it's now 4:30 on Monday and I'm just getting ready to teach a couple of piano lessons. So pulling out the music that we need, a cup of coffee at the ready, Zoom, you need to log in, and of course I have some crochet. Good morning, it's Tuesday, the 23rd of March, and I just got back from the school run and I thought I would just show you what I ended up doing with my socks yesterday, because I finally fixed the heels. Hooray! There we go. So I decided that I think I said I wasn't going to rip them all the way back because that would just be annoying. So I kept on with the increases up the gusset of the foot, and then I kind of just kept going until I had got that extra inch that I needed on the length of the sole, which means that I did increase quite a lot further than the pattern called for on the heel. But then I just did all the decreases as usual on the other side of the heel. This side looks neater, it's nice and neat to see. I always have one side that looks really good and the other side doesn't look quite so neat. Anyway, there you go. So the pearl side comes out neater. And then when I got back into the round, I'd hit a point. I decided to keep the back just plain knitting until I decreased to the number of stitches that I was meant to have. And I don't think it looks too terrible. I think it'll look better when it's blocked, obviously. But yeah, so I'm back in the round on both socks now because I did do both of them. Hooray! Oh, we're in a tangle. There we go. And you can see, yeah, that one's a little bit wobblier, but that's because that's a pattern stitch there, that one that's a bit twisty. So I think it's going to block out all right. They do fit. I did put them back on magic loop to check, and oh, look at the colours in this. Oh, they're so pretty. I love it. So it is now just a case of doing the legs and the cuffs, which is great. So I'm feeling quite happy about that. So it is Wednesday. Let me just stop the music. Otherwise I'll be getting demonetized. And I am just getting ready to reopen the shop. And part of what I wanted to do before I did that was to come and just tweak some of the website features and colours and things. So I've just changed up my headings and some of the fonts and things. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Let's go back. Oh. and then changing, yeah, I need to make some of those, don't I? And then changing some of like the colours and stuff. And something I've just learned how to do was how to change the fonts and things on here, which I'm quite excited by because I feel all clever having put in some little bits of HTML coding. Go me. Thank you, Google, for telling me how to do it. So it's another little bit of creating, and yeah, I'm going to be reopening very, very soon, which is really exciting. Hello, so it is now around lunchtime on Wednesday, and I reopened the shop this morning, which is very exciting, and I've just spent some time taking photos and writing a blog post for Coco Daisy, for whom I am part of the design team. So I've been working on that. I use Adobe Lightroom to edit photos, and that's been a learning curve. I want to really improve my photography skills this year. It's something that I've kind of just, I don't know, I always feel like I get away with. And I kind of have some understanding of different things, but really I feel like there's a lot more that I could be doing to make my photos even better. So that's, you know, it's all a work in progress, isn't it? But that's another sort of skill and things that I definitely need to spend some time on. So I've got photos exporting, I'm going to go make some lunch, and then I'm teaching this afternoon. In other kind of slightly creative news, I just picked up my Switch again, my Switch Lite, and started playing Animal Crossing again yesterday, which, yeah, I kind of fallen out of love with my island, so I flattened it. So there's going to be a lot of creativity needed now. Oh dear. So I've just finished teaching on Friday morning, and I just popped my Rainbow Chronicles blanket out just to take a photograph, since I finished the March colours, which start here and go to this stripe here. So yeah, really enjoying seeing the yellows come through now, which are the start of the April colours. You can see my skein there all wound up. Oh, look at these. Colour just makes me happy.